What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today I will be reading the Norse legend, Heimdall Fathers the Social Classes. This version comes from the book Viking Spirit by Daniel McCoy. With all that being said, let our story begin. When the gods wanted to travel amongst humans and accomplish their often inscrutable goals, they often took up a disguise and a nickname so that no one would know who they really were. So, when Heimdall left Asgard for Midgard, he called himself Rig, king, to those he met along his way. At this time, humankind was wayward. No one knew what his proper work should be, and no one knew who should command whom, and toward what ends. Heimdall set out to remedy this situation by organizing humankind into a true society, one with classes, ranks, and titles. Each class would have its own appointed task to carry out. Rig walked along the grassy pathways that connected the few houses that stood in Midgard at the time, until he came to a small, shoddily built hovel. This was the home of a couple whose name were I, great-grandfather, and Edda, great-grandmother. I and Edda hospitably invited the traveler in to have dinner with them and spend the night. After the three had eaten their meager portions of coarse, husk-filled bread, the couple lay down to sleep. The clever Rig convinced them to let him sleep between them. After 3 nights of this sleeping arrangement, Rig went on his way. Edda, meanwhile, found that she was pregnant, and in due time she gave birth to a son named Thrail, farmhand. He had an exceptionally ugly face, rough skin, oversized hands and feet, gnarled fingers and toes, and a twisted back. But despite his uncomely appearance, he proved to be quite strong. He was given hard manual labor to perform, and he performed it ably, carrying heavy burdens all day long. Thrail married Thyr, bondwoman, a maiden with bent legs, sunburnt arms, and a flat nose. Thrail and Thyr had many children, who had names like Haystack and Cowshed. The family spent their days caring for their house, digging turf, spreading manure over the soil, and tending goats and pigs. From them is descended the lowest classes, the manual laborers. Rig came next to a house of ample size, and built with some degree of care and art. When he knocked on the door, he was greeted by a couple who introduced themselves as Afi, grandfather, and Amma, grandmother. Afi was a woodcarver by trade, and Amma spent her days spinning and weaving. Both had neatly trimmed hair, and both were dressed in nice, well-fitting clothes. In the corner of the hall was a chest filled with their possessions. After a hearty dinner of boiled calf meat, vegetables, and wine, it was time for bed. As he had done before, Rig charmed the couple into letting him sleep between them in their bed. After 3 such nights, Rig departed. Amma soon found herself with child, and 9 months from Rig's visit, she gave birth to a son named Karl, Freeman. He had a ruddy face and bright, intelligent eyes. As he grew up, he became an expert craftsman and a deft handler of the plow. He married Snor, String, a pretty girl who dressed in nice clothes. Together, they had many children, including Smith, Man of Honor, and Farmer. And from their line came the middle class of skilled professionals, merchants, and yeomen. Rig continued on his way, and at last came to a broad hall with wide doors and a regal ring on the doorposts. Inside, he found a couple dressed in fine clothes and much jewelry. The man was polishing a new hunting bow, and the woman was smoothing out a small wrinkle which she had found in her flowing blue gown. The man introduced himself to Rig as Farir, or father, and the lady introduced herself as Modir, mother. They invited Rig to eat and spend the night with them. Modir laid a finely embroidered linen tablecloth over her large, intricately carved table. All kinds of rare meats and wines were served in silver vessels. After eating their fill, they got up to go to bed, and once again, Rig persuaded the couple to allow him to sleep in between them in their bed. After 3 nights, he went on his way. 9 months later, Modir gave birth to a son whose name is Jarl, or Earl. Jarl was exceptionally handsome in every way, and his eyes flashed with all the knowledge and cunning of a serpent. As a youth, he demonstrated consummate skill at archery, hunting, war, horsemanship, and all kinds of sports. One day, while he was honing his skills by the side of a wood, Rig emerged from the trees and called the boy by his name. He revealed that he was his father and taught him the runes so that he could broaden his training to include their mysterious, esoteric knowledge and powers. Jarl became a mighty warlord, expanding his domain through countless military conquests. He married Erna, a beautiful maiden from another noble family. Their children bore names like Noble and Young King. From them came the highest class, that of the aristocrats. In time, one of them surpassed even their father Jarl at all his skills, and took the name Rig in honor of the founder of his line.